Let's talk about young Tay-K.
I don't know who Tay-K is, sir.
He's the young kid that had the song. What was the song? The Race. That's the name of the song. So he
actually did some dumb stuff and went on the run, made a song about it.
Got 55 years in jail.
Yeah.
But he came out on Twitter and said, "I really just need one chance at adulthood."
Well,
I bet if
you had it.
That was stupid.
Well,
I bet if I was a little white kid, they would have gave me no 55 years for my crime. So he's basically saying there was a co-defendant. She's a 16-year-old white young lady that was with him, and she got probation. He got 55 years for the murder that he was involved in, and he's saying there's a double standard because he's a young black kid. Co-defendant was.
Do you know the details of all this stuff?
What kind of attorneys did each of them have? Because I mean, at the end of the day, that's important too.
Somebody had somebody had a good one, and somebody may have
that's
not.
usually how it goes. But I mean, in his situation, he was pretty much rubbing the authorities' nose in the mess that he created.
Mm-hmm.
Like he literally went and took a picture by his wanted poster and used that as his album art.
Like that's just
for this.
stupid.
Come on, man, you can't do that.
It can't be dumb.
So if he had this 16-year-old co-defendant,
how old was he?
He might have been 17, 18.
He's 22 now.
He's still young.
Yeah, they were both young, but I don't know if
she was given 10 years probation.
Yeah, I don't know if she was doing the exact same stuff that he was doing too, because
that's why I said
he had been doing some other things. So you gotta, I don't know.
He also said he was 16 when I was 16. He said his brain, he could technically say that his brain had not been fully developed yet, because people are pointing out, though, he might be right. It's a double standard. I'm like,
to an maybe not necessarily to the. There is like
probation, but
there is precedent for that, right?
Agreed,
but at the same time, like I would have to know the details of why she got 10 years probation and why he got 55 years specifically. If they were holding hands and they did the same thing and then that happened, yeah, of course. But if there's more to the background,
because somebody lost their life in this situation, correct?
Right,
correct.
I think so.
Yeah,
you rapping about it, posting, like Terry said, pictures about it, and making a song about it and joking about it. So were you developed enough to know what you were doing when you were doing that?
Now, I don't know if that necessarily means that he should be more guilty necessarily.
No, I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
10,
because
10, what did he say? 10 months.
It says
10 years probation versus 55 years incarcerated. That is a big difference.
Pretty significant.
But we have to have all the pieces to the story. But he also did a whole lot extra.
Says
doing what he did.
One of my co-defendants was a white girl who was 16, just like me. They didn't certify her as an adult, but they certified me and Pimp, whoever Pimp was, as adults. Pimp got 30, I got 55. She ended up getting 10 years probation without no deal. The girl is at home right now, is what he tweeted.
Look, man.
So he's saying there's a double standard here.
We all know that there are sentencing disparities between black and white defendants in the United States of America.
Facts.
And look, I'm sorry, I just don't feel sorry for this young man. Somebody lost their life in the commission of the crime he committed. Right. And I don't know where he grew up or who he's around to where you don't understand this is how the system works. Okay? If you're black and you do something, somebody loses their life, and then you throwing rocks at the penitentiary by taking pictures and recording songs. You don't
about what you did,
and if you committed this crime when he was 16 or 17, they have sentenced people 12 and 13 years old to life.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. Maybe it's because I know so much about the history of America and how this whole thing works. I can't feel sorry for you because, don't cry now when, after you've done the crime and you've been caught and you've been convicted. Like, there are people who are literally in jail right now who've done absolutely nothing. I have to save my tears and my energy for them because those are the real injustices here. Tay-K, you making, all you goofy rappers out here making songs about how you on the run and F the police and y'all ain't gonna catch me. Well, this is a cautionary tale because the judge took all that into consideration when he sent you up for 55 years. So now your life is essentially over, and I can't really feel sorry for you.
I don't think he's gonna do 55.
He's not gonna do 55, but
he's gonna do a big piece of it.
Oh no, he's probably gonna.
They're making an example out of it.
Yeah, and you got to understand, if you put yourself in a position to be made an example of, trust me, they are going to do it. And it's a call. I look at this as a cautionary tale. Young people out there, if you think that this, was funny when it happened, or like, oh, look at him, he's wild for the night for posting on social media in front of his wanted poster. Okay, see how funny it is now. He's about to spend the time when other people are going to college, falling in love, having families, and creating a legacy for himself. He's going to be in probably a maximum security prison. Learn from it.
Lone, I think maybe this isn't necessarily the situation to talk about the double standard, but I think it brings the conversation up based.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You see what I'm getting at? Yeah. This might not be the poster one for it, but it does bring up the conversation as to how he broke it down with the years versus who got what. Like that's something that's a further conversation for another day. But I think it's some meat on that bone. I really do.
I could only say there's meat on that bone if I know the details. I don't know. I don't know anything about this case whatsoever. So I would be foolish to even comment on it. From that perspective. But what I will say is that, even to what Jay said, like, it is shame, and yes, there is. I think there's definitely something to be said about. There's a reason why we try minors as minors,
right?
You know what I mean? And it's because of kind of what he's saying, realistically. But so what Jay said, what do you expect? I don't know.
Look, I look, and I know what I said came off as very harsh, but I mean it. Because I if there's anybody young who hears this message, you still don't get it twisted. This is still the United States of America.
Facts.
I remember when I was growing up and hanging out with some of my friends, my white friends would go off to like smash pumpkins and knock over mailboxes. I'd be like, I can't go with y'all.
Yeah.
And I'd make up some excuse to be like, because you know what, if I'm out with y'all and you're doing all this wild stuff, and it's, like I said, it's maybe a cautionary tale about how if you're hanging out with your white friends, the dudes you play ball with, and you got to move on, and you got to,
this is real.
You can't do what they do, because the thing is, if the police get involved, guess who they're going to remember? They're going to remember the blackface that was with them.
Your parents wasn't having it either.
And yeah, that too. But these are the conversations that we need to have with our young men. Because you got to understand the system is not going to treat you fair, especially if you don't have the money to pay for one of these super lawyers that knows how to make these deals and get somebody who's been involved in a really violent crime 10 years of probation.
Smooth, who just said these kids got to be smart as well.
Yeah, they got to be smart and they have to be aware. They just have to be aware of what the system is and how things work. You want to say that justice is blind. We know it is not, and it does not treat our children fairly, even when they haven't done anything. They offer plea deals to people who are innocent. We don't even have a justice system in this country. We have a plea system, and that's why and not to even bringing it up back to when everybody was having all these conversations about the Tory Lane situation. Like, in retrospect, like, you shot a woman in the feet. Their gun was yours. You're not supposed to have a gun anywhere in California, and you're not even an American citizen. How did somebody not offer? How did you not take a plea? What did you think was going to happen? So I think a lot of people get caught up in the hype, because they think they can turn. And this is a really sad thing. People are turning their crime into content.
Man.
And they think this is a way to up their followers and their clout. And I'm telling you right now, once again, this is cautionary tale. If you're watching this, and like I said, we're new old heads. I don't know if there's a bunch of teenagers watching us, but if you got some younger cousins or younger brothers or whatever, show them this. Let them know what happened to Tay-K. If you get caught too far in the matrix of foolishness, trying to, become somebody online, this is what can happen to you. So I like I said, prayers to his family. I know they're gonna miss him, but I only have so much sympathy to go to this young man when I know there are people in prison right now doing real time who are completely innocent.
I'm not mad at that.
Talk to your kids, man.